Hello gamers, and welcome back to another Platinum video. Today I decided to Platinum Far Cry 3, because I have no friends to do Far Cry 5. Anyway, this game is arguably the best Far Cry game. I do not agree with the statement, and this game made me feel like I was running on a potato for 15 hours, mainly because it's quite old. Nevertheless, I got the 44 trophies you need for the Platinum. So without further ado, welcome to Far Cry 3. We start the game off by being shown all the main characters and have the roster of our big brother, our smaller brother, our girlfriend, the crackhead, and your average white girl, with some random rich guy. We are Jason and went on holiday with our friends to a remote island and had a very nice time.
You boys think you're crazy, huh? Jumping out of airplanes, flying like birds.
This is Vaas, or the Breaking Bad character from the lawyer movie. He doesn't like us having fun on the island and decides to use us for ransom money. We don't like that, and Grant, as a Chad he is, helps us escape to live a happy life afterwards.
Then we're going home.
Oh, he's dead.
Run, Forrest! Run!
I guess we'll have to escape without him then. After an intense chase scene, we run away and get the first blood achievement for killing the first person, which for some reason pops in a loading screen. This guy then rescues us and talks about the history of the island and tells us that we need to turn on some radio towers for the tutorial. The tutorial tells us a lot about the island and important things such as leaves that we need to collect in order to heal ourselves, that we need to liberate outposts. However, I saw a vehicle and ended up doing a supply run mission and getting another trophy. Later on, I found this guy who is one of my friends and needs to get some special mushrooms in order to wake her up from a coma. So I go do that and trip on some wacky stuff and get those mushrooms, saving our friend and getting another trophy. I'd also gotten enough XP to get my 5th character upgrade, giving another trophy. When I was in the jungle, I saw a few pirates getting absolutely pounded by a tiger and decided to jump in and kill both of them, handing me the hunted achievement. For the duration of playing this game, there was one thing that I absolutely sucked at, and that's trying to use these vehicles. I don't know why, but it felt like an actual cancer trying to drive them, and the amount of times I drove off of the cliff is actually depressing. I then got the unheard achievement for completing a outpost without triggering the alarm, which is exactly what I meant to do. In Far Cry 3, you also have to hunt animals to upgrade your backpack, so I did that and got 2 trophies. Once I finished up with the side quests I started the main story up again, where I went to go look for Liz. We found Liz, but Vaas also found us, and seemed to want to become an arsonist today. But sadly for Vaas, I have plot armor, and go rescue Liz, which is pretty fun while we went on a getaway scene. I can't say, while I do not like how this game runs, the story is definitely the peak of gaming, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's a shame that Ubisoft didn't actually remaster the game. Once the day concluded, we got another achievement for making it a real great time. The guy that rescued us at the beginning of the game called us up to meet some baddie and talk about joining the tribe and finding some sword that I saw in a dream when I was on some shrooms. That then gave us another trophy, making the count go up higher. In our dream, we also had to find a guy in a white suit who turned out to be a secret agent from the US who was investigating Vaas and his drug empire. We kinda also made a deal with him to burn down some crops with some other villain that I forgot his name for, in order to save our friends. Before going to the main mission, I wanted to try out this flamethrower, mainly because I need to get kills for a trophy, and wanted to see its power. Overall, it's a pretty decent weapon, and I got another trophy for liberating 5 outposts. I also got another achievement for crafting 5 backpack upgrades. I also got another achievement for buying all the attachments on a gun that I definitely used throughout the game. If you can't tell right now, I got distracted and started doing side quests and ended up finishing half of the radio towers that you need, and that gave me another trophy. After realizing I actually have to play the story to plan in the game, I finally went to the special crops area where I burnt all Huey's crops and got robbed of a launcher kill, where I could have completed the mission and had to restart it. Luckily on the second try I did manage to blow it up, and the American guy told me where Oliver was. We also told us about Huey, who is Vaas's daddy, and the real guy operating the drug empire. The American guy then told us that we need to get some book in order to find Oliver's real location, and that this was on one of his secret guys, who was being killed, or almost killed. Once 20 minutes had passed, and we eventually saved the guy, He gave us the book, and we got a trophy for collecting 50 logs for our jungle book, which is just some random items as random characters and random animals that we get. Eventually we then made it to where Oliver was, where I got Island Paparazzi for photographing 25 enemies, and where we started our sniping adventure, killing Vaas's troops and letting Oliver escape onto a boat where we assisted him shooting at some other boats. In order to find our friend's keep location, we had to talk to an Australian guy who had brought him recently, and he sent us on an adventure to find a sword that we had seen in our dream. I'm not going to bore you with the temple hunting that we had to go through, but I will show you the sword that we had gotten after an hour. The Aussie guy didn't really think the deal we had was that fair, so he decided to 1v1 me in a knife combat where I got absolutely pounded to death and completely died. To be fair to me, I haven't played on PlayStation in over a year since I've come back, and I'm ass of the game. When I eventually killed him, I managed to save my friend physically, but I'm not so sure mentally. This guy probably has to go to a mental institution because of all the stuff that Aussie guy did to him. But of course we got a trophy that makes Keith's suffering worth it. Since we got that dagger, the baddie from before wanted to see us again and basically gave us permission to go take on Vaas with her people and counter a convoy. We go do that, everything's going well until we open the truck door and Vaas is waiting for us and knocks us out and completely ruins everything. We then get put into the most notable part of the game where Vaas talks about insanity, and it's really good. This scene is also very cold. Literally, he throws us into freezing water. But thankfully, because the plot armor saves us again, and we go look for Vaas by killing all of his men and attempting to steal a helicopter. Yeah, the helicopter play didn't really go well, and they kinda shot back at us, kinda almost killing us again. That and Vaas was really pissed with us, and wanted us dead, and shot us to make sure that we died. But once again, Jason Brody is the luckiest man to ever exist, and survives, because the bullet hit a light in his chest pocket. Jason realizes he kinda has to kill Vaas if he wants to actually leave this place in one piece, and decides to get special training or fight whatever this monster is, which is just the shooting a bow for 10 minutes at this big monster. That's kinda really it. And then after that we then get shown a cutscene that I cannot show on YouTube for reasons that I will not discuss. So yeah. With Jason's new confidence, we then decided to storm Vaas's base to kill him. But Vaas knows that we're going to do that, so he kinda booby traps the whole place, and then hides in a corner to then stab her with a knife. But the knife probably had some of those special mushrooms from before that he rubbed on them, because we were sent into this weird place where we had to go do this 1v1. After the 1v1 though, Vaas was a bit quieter. I'm not too sure what happened to him. I do know that I got a trophy for killing Vaas and taking him down. Unfortunately, Vaas is only half the problem, as there still was Huey, who's the guy that runs everything. And because we feel emotionally connected to the island, we can't abandon it, since half the people we met here. And we actually have to do something about it. So we go off to the American guy who lets us ride his plane and parachutes onto Huey's island. We then freefall for a bit and get another trophy, which is pretty nice, before we actually land and kinda make it or something. To speed things up, we basically met this German spy who was deep undercover and helped us get into Huey's inner circle. We do then fight some of Huey's traders, where he gives us a great pleasure to beat up this guy. Oh wait, he's our brother. We earn Huey's trust, where he then invites us to a game of poker. But before we get there, we have to sabotage some of his stuff and do an uprising or something. And while doing that, I get another trophy for spending $5,000. It's now poker time. I don't really know how to play poker, so I do the only thing I know how to and go all in. But I don't think Huey likes that and kinda kills the German guy. I don't know if he knows we're kind of his enemy or not, not sure. Since the jig is up, we kinda just go straight to the boss fight, where I once again got clapped a ridiculous amount of times, but after 5 tries I finally glitched up and killed Huey. Unfortunately, this isn't the end of the game, as we still have to save our little brother, and to do this, we have to do a hard helicopter fight, which is surprisingly difficult, but I ultimately was just better at shooting from a helicopter and successfully escaped. Once we land to get our friends and leave this island, we find out the old guy is basically dead and the tribe people have taken all our friends. We then have to go to them and are given two options from Citra, and it's very clear I do not care about these people and rather leave the island and go home. So, I do the obvious and save my friends. Citra is very unhappy with my decision. The other guy is also very unhappy and decides to try and kill us, but accidentally misses and hits Citra, killing her, finishing the Far Cry 3 story. For the next 25 minutes of playtime, I was forced to watch the end credits and contemplated my life and what I was doing with it. It was worth it though, as we got another trophy, but now we're on stage 2, which is just getting miscellaneous trophies and just cleaning up, which is kind of very long and boring, as I spent 7 hours on the stage. Without further ado, here's what I did. First, I completed a Dead Man's Quest, which is basically just killing enemy leaders with a knife, and it's pretty fun. Next, we used the most lethal weapon in the game, which is the repair tool, getting a kill with it, which is just a nice, fun way. I then tried to do one of the harder trophies, which was get a bow kill 80 meters away, and I can tell you, I felt great when hitting this shot. The whole game I kinda just didn't use needles and syringes, so I finally made 25 of them, making me another trophy richer. I started getting a bit of island fever and decided to go cool off at the bottom of the ocean. The flamethrower trophy was next up and it finally popped, and I can tell you it was fire. In order to keep my sanity, I used a rocket launcher and finally got a quad kill, which felt pretty nice. Poker was next up on the list and I won big by going all in. One of the takedown trophies had me go to zipline and kill a guy, which is quite interesting. Randomly on the beach there was this guy's head that gives a trophy, and I have no idea where this trophy comes from, but that's nice. I would say this trophy is the most unenjoyable part of the game, as you just throw a rock and look at it. So that's a pain I just did. After a bit I then made a syringe that does something that I have no idea what it does, but I know it has some weird ingredients in it. A few hours had passed and I finally got the final upgrade and making me completely inked up. All of the outposts were also liberated, giving another trophy shortly after. My last relic of Far Cry 3 was spent on this broken lighthouse, which was absolutely beautiful. Final love letters were finally picked up, leaving the Japanese in their graves. The final collectible Far Cry 3 was a memory stick, and it felt really nice to get this platinum. Overall, the game's pretty fun, but it's a shame that it didn't feel as smooth as other Far Cry games. So, what's the next platinum now?